I shared this presentation with a team that I was supposed to be meeting with in person, so I adapted it and made it more relevant for the kind of leaders that they need to be right now. So the title is Leading Through Uncertainty, which is something that all leaders need to do right now, more than ever before. So we are in crisis. We are in a state where unprecedented times. So all of the things that we've ever done or been through, or the way that we've led previously, probably needs to either be updated, adapted, or changed, because we're in a new kind of normal. I don't think we're even in normal yet. We're on our way to that. So at times of crisis, we all looked to a leader or our leaders more than ever. We seek reassurance from them. We need them to make us feel a sense of safety. We need to know that there's a plan, that there's some answers. Now, in reality, you're not going to be able to give them everything that your followers need. But what you can do is create a plan, even if it's just for today or this week. You need to involve them in that plan so they feel like they are taking actionable steps. And you need to reassure them that although we don't know what the future looks like, that we are going to be okay. And in terms of safety, you don't know whether their jobs are going to be fine or when the markets are going to pick up again. But what you can do is give them safety and stability in your leadership approach. So when you are consistent, when you are yourself and lead with integrity, that creates that safety. Every night we're tuning in at 5 p.m. for the Prime Minister's briefing, and even though Boris hasn't been present because he's self-isolating, our leadership team is stepping forward, and even if they haven't got any new news, it's just really great to have that consistency in communication and that humble leadership. They don't know all the answers, and they're honest about that. They just say we will evaluate daily based on best advice, but they need everyone to play their part. That's the consistent message, calmly, clearly, and concisely. So I just want to check in with you in terms of where you are in the grief cycle and the amygdala hijack, because if you're going to lead others, you need to be really clear about where you are right now so that you can self-lead. So to start off with, I want to share with you the DJAC model. Now, at any one stage, you'll be in one of these processes or these stages, and you might flip back a few times. So the denial stage is, where people are saying, it's not that bad. More people die from flu and cancer. I think I had it in December. I think I'm okay now. Or it'll soon be over. 2 to 3 weeks, we'll all be back down the pub again. Well, they are in denial. They haven't accepted that things have changed, that this is serious. So you need to just listen to them and just help them process where they are now. You'll be going through some pretty intense emotions right now. For some, it might be fear, it might be anger, stress, and they might start, vilifying other people who aren't behaving properly, whether they're hoarding or still hanging out with others in the park or not self-isolating. So there's all of this anger and emotions coming up. They might be really stressed. They might feel really anxious and so seek more answers by going on the news, which is again causing even more anxiety. They might be excited and get this supercharged new sense of, I can do this and I'm going to create and develop and push new stuff out there. They get busy doing. Some people might just feel lost or a complete sense of overwhelm. Some people might be slipping into depression. So check in, where are you right now? And then as you start processing your emotions, you start moving into justification mode. Your brain starts to try and make sense of what's happening to you. It's explanations. It might be that you start blaming others. It might be that you're looking for the root cause analysis. So your brain is trying to put things into the compartment so that you can make sense. And then once you've done that, once your brain has made sense of what's going on and the reality that you're now in, you start to move into acceptance. And when you move into acceptance, you can just go, it's like taking a big breath. It's saying, okay, I am where I am. This is how I feel. This is what my new reality is. this is really hard, but this is where I am. It's like a pause. And then you can release into change. And that's where this new burst of new energy comes from. It's a new normal. You can start thinking about, what does the future look like? You find new ways forward. You start developing yourself. You start finding new strategies. But for most people right now, which is 2 weeks into lockdown, we're nowhere near that. We're just still in survival and bouncing around between denial, emotion, and justification. So let's talk about the amygdala hijack for a moment, because you need to know where you are and also be able to recognize where other people, the people you lead, might be right now. So within the brain, we have this amygdala, which is your safety mechanism. It's where you learn to survive when you've got a real threat. And right now, we have a real threat. Our lives have changed because an invisible enemy, a little virus, is out to get us all. So you're allowed to feel real fear. It shows up in so many different ways, but for me, I've definitely been more confused. I don't know what day it is for a start, but I haven't been able to concentrate, a little bit of memory loss at times. I've tried to read. I thought I was going to get involved in loads of personal development stuff. I was going to write loads, and I just haven't been able to because I've been stuck in survival mode. So you can either feed it or calm it. So when you're feeding it, it might look like, reading the news constantly, or constantly being on social media, going down a bit of a rabbit hole, trying to get more facts, and you don't know what's fake news and questions and videos, and it's just not helpful. So you start then feeling negative, you start being negative. Your thoughts, your words, your actions are counterproductive. You might even find yourself becoming more isolating and withdrawing even more from your friends, from your community. So what I ask you to do is just to start calming the brain. Now that could be just by simply taking a few deep breaths, really breathing it in. You might choose to meditate or, spend some time in the garden just listening to the birds, just drawing, doing some colouring, or journaling. But it's literally just about calming the brain down, reflecting on where you are now. And when you're in that calm space, then you've cleared that mental messiness, and that's when you're really able to then start connecting with your people. So I invite you then to talk, to join in, to expand your thinking, to share your ideas or your thoughts and get creative, to start developing with others, to start including. But before you race to the next meeting or the next call, calm it first. And in that calm space, you're able to really focus on your emotional intelligence. So notice how you're feeling, notice what thoughts you have, and then notice what actions you will take as a result. So consciously lead yourself. So that's the element of self-regulation. Lead with empathy, understand where other people are, what they need from you right now. Get your level of self-motivation, find ways to recharge and reconnect with your inner motivation, and then tap into how you can motivate others. And with any team, everything starts with trust, and that gets so much harder when you're not together. But by having some of these empathetic connection sharing kind of conversations, you're really starting to build trust. So rather than just talking about work, check in with people. How are they feeling? What's the funniest thing, the most frustrating thing? What's going on in their heads? What have their kids done? Or, have they seen a funny video online? Just check in, share stories, express how you're feeling. Leaders go first. And then eventually you'll start getting into some really quite good challenging debates. People will start being more themselves and more relaxed, rather than what you see at the moment, which is still very much polite behaviours on these virtual calls. You'll start being super focused in terms of what is the meeting agenda, what needs to be decided, who needs to be invited. And then at the end of the calls, you can decide on who is doing what by when and be really super committed. And then holding each other to accountability. When people maybe haven't delivered what you expected, rather than just jumping to assumptions, you might step back and say, did I communicate clearly enough? Ask them, what's going on with you right now? What support do you need? Is there anything else? Was there something missing? So learn. And ultimately, if you do all these things and really over communicate and over lean in, then you will get the results. So some of the things that I want you to think about in terms of how you lead, again, over communicate. Meet people where they are, so maybe some social hangouts, maybe have a beer on a Friday or Tuesday coffee mornings, but just try and find a way that it's not work, but you're connecting with work people. Do the daily check-ins, whether it's on the phone, telephone, video calls. How are people getting on? What are they doing? What have they succeeded at? What are they struggling with? What decisions do they want from you? Maybe do the weekly tactical. So this is what we're going to focus on this week. This is what's changed. This is what we need to deliver. And then, maybe as we start moving into a bit of clearer headspace, you can start doing the monthly strategy meetings about where are you going to be this week, next week, the month after. But always be clear about your communication. Be empathetic with others, so understand and meet them where they are. Be concise in your messaging. And then at the end of every session, every meeting, be motivating. Find a way to keep people going. Say, hey, you're doing a great job. I really want to thank you for doing everything you're doing. I know this is hard, but together we can make it work. So really leave on a high. And then I just wanted to think about how I might serve you. So in the immediate, I'm here for coaching calls. I'm here for connection calls. We can also just revisit any previous themes or course content. In the medium term, which might even be next week at this rate, start thinking about building some online team building sessions, do some activities together. I can help you with that. And continue to reflect on what's gone well, what hasn't gone well, and then maybe build that into a future plan. So when you start resuming normal work, normal ways of being together, how can you take the best of what you've learned over the last few weeks and build it into the future? That might be new values, new ideas, new best practice, new meeting agendas. And so in the long term, you're starting to think about, how do you reset? How do you reinvent yourselves as a team or a business? And what can you do to reintegrate your people? You don't have all the answers. You can start thinking about it now, but bring them into the conversations. And a great way to do that is with the team charters. You can download a copy or a guide off the website. But perhaps you might even have a new sense of vision or clarity or purpose, a new mission that's come from this time out. You might have some new behaviours, a new culture or new values that you want to really embed and take forward. So this is your time to almost create a new normal. And again, I'm here for you to help you if you need me. So stay safe, keep connecting, and I shall see you on the other side.